Hello and welcome to the Summary of Performance with the Colorado River BOCES. The Summary of Performance is intended as a summary to provide specific, meaningful, and understandable information to the student's family, and an agency including post-secondary schools which may provide services to students upon transition. The Summary of Performance is individualized. It does not require additional assessments, is not part of the IEP. However, the student's input should drive the summary of performance. It should also be written in terms of post-measurable secondary goals. The summary of performance should be an objective summary of reading, writing, math, learning skills, and social skills. How does the student interact and work with other students? What's the time frame? There are two time frames we can use. It can be open in the fall, but not finalized or locked down until the end of the school year. If you're doing this, this can help the student with filling out applications for college or trade school. If you're waiting till the spring, it too needs to be locked down before the student graduates. Both of them need to be finalized and locked down right before the student graduates. We're going to work with Dory Finding Nemo with her summary of performance. The summary of performance part 1 is just basic information. Who's completing the form, and if they have questions, who can they reach out to? The next is part 2, the summary of their performance. This is where you're going to take the academic information that they've done over the years and you're going to put it inside each of these boxes. The first box is on reading. So you're going to indicate the level of performance for basic reading. Is it an area of strength, an area of limitation, or is it both? Is there one area where the student has a strength in it and another one where there's a limitation? You're going to put this information in here. You can include the grade level, but make sure you also describe the specific skills that they can do. You're going to complete each section: reading, math, writing, and then there's learning style and needs. This is how they participate in class, or what kind of note-taking they need. Can they do keyboarding? What kind of organization skills will they need help with? Self-management, time management, study skills, test-taking skills. Then we go into the general ability and problem solving. This is their reasoning and processing skills. If you have a current cognitive assessment, you can include the information and the data here. Attention and executive functioning. What's their energy? How long could they sustain for? What's their memory processing or their speed? What's their impulse control or activity level? What are accommodations or modifications that the student needs? What assistive technologies or supports may the student also need? The next area is functional performance. Again, you're going to go through and you're going to mark each section if it's an area of strength, an area of limitation, or both. The first section is social, interpersonal behavior, or skills. So, interactions with others, emotional or behavioral issues related to learning and/or attention. Independent living skills, self-care, leisure skills, personal safety, personal hygiene, transportation. Can they have, and are they able to take care of a bank account or budgeting? Environmental access or mobility skills. Will they need a walker? Will they need a cane? What kind of supports will they need to be able to access the environment? Self-determination and advocacy skills. Can they advocate for themselves? Can they say what their strengths and their needs are? Self-direction. The ability to follow and understand directions. Do they need it written or do they need it verbal, or could they do both? What do they need to complete a task? Can they work independently or do they need assistance? Do they take corrective feedback? Is communication an area of strength, an area of limitation, or both? Career and vocational interests. exploration opportunities, job training opportunities, work tolerance or work skills, the capacity to meet the physical and psychological demands of work and to learn and perform the job tasks. Can they do the job? Additional important information. Are there medical concerns or medical considerations? Are there specific family needs? Part 3. Recommendations to assist the student in achieving measurable post-secondary goals. This is where that you as a teacher and providers provide some recommendation for the students. This is information that should have been talked about in the IEPs. Are they working with a community agency? Do they need specific educational training? Do they need support for independent living skills? Do they need to work with Mountain Valley Developmental Services? Do they need to work within a group home? Are they able to live with another person, a family member? Part 4, associated relevant documentation summary. This is where you're going to include a summary of the most recent IEP evaluation and eligibility. It's also where you can update the progress report, progress notes on the student's goals, results for aptitude test. Are there outside assessments that need to be taken into consideration? Are there interest inventories that the student has completed? Part 5 is the student input. This is where the student can add their input. They can provide the specific information about how or in which area does the disability affect the schoolwork or school activities. What supports or accommodation does the student feel they need? If they believe they need services, what kind of services or support does them or their family need? Section 6, contact information. This information is what's going to guide the post-school outcome survey calling that we do at the end of the year. We do this 1 year after they've graduated. The post-school calling information, we want the student contact information. We want the student's email, not their high school email address. We want their personal email address to be able to put here. You can put the family contact information here. You can also add additional contact. This could be a sibling, a cousin, an aunt that somehow we can get a hold of them and try to be able to collect the post-survey outcome that we're supposed to do. Then you end this and you complete it and provide it to the student. Once you've completed this, you can email this out to the family and provide a copy to the student. This allows them to be able to access this when they're beyond school. They can access this through an email or they can access through the hard copy. Please remind them that somebody is going to call them 1 year after they've graduated. This information is going to help us become a better administrative unit to make sure that we're providing the students with the supports and access that they need to post-secondary education. And in the end, this summary of performance is the last gift that you're going to give them. You're going to provide them with the summary of what they've done for their senior year or the last year that they're in education. And you're going to provide this to them so that they can go on to either post-secondary education, training, or job performance. Some students might go into the military, and this information they might be able to take with them and be able to show the next person who's going to be supporting them in their life. Again, this is the summary of performance with the Colorado River BOCES and Dory from Finding Nemo.